Hello, everybody. I am Evan Martinez, and today I have
Evan Martinez.
Evan Martinez here today, and I'm here interviewing the one and only Jason McMaster from Dangerous Toys. And today we're here on the couch. All right, me and Jason, we go way back. We go back to the olden times.
I used to run into you and your dad at the Target
Mhm.
in the toy aisle,
I
and
think
you would be picking out a Spider-Man action figure, and sometimes you were red-faced and even teary because they didn't have the one you wanted.
that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, or because my dad wouldn't allow me to get that.
I didn't want to
That
say
toy.
that. That's abuse.
You have a very big band, Dangerous Toys, but you also have a lot of other projects that you do. Is that correct?
Yeah, some of them I definitely would call projects, and some of them I wouldn't. Like Watchtower is not a project.
No?
No, because I was in that band for almost a decade prior to Dangerous Toys,
Mhm.
and Watchtower created fairly quickly, pre-internet, a global footprint, and that was through tape trading and fanzines and things like that, which is how all of this started in the first place.
Mhm.
Ultimately, to not to it's an easy target, but that's how Metallica got their first record deal, was through fanzines and tape trade. So if you look at that as a window, you know what I mean? That's kind of how that's
Mhm.
where all of this kind of starts. And I'll give credit to the punk rock bands when I was young, and I just wanted to write songs and play shows. That was going to be good enough for me. It was
Mhm.
also the goal for Dangerous Toys. We never searched out a record deal.
Yeah.
We were just playing and trying to eat and have fun and
Mhm.
make noise and write a few songs,
That's
and
the life
and that's
right
it.
there. Yeah.
That's it. That's all we cared about. And Watchtower was kind of the same way until it was time to, it's like, well, wow, we have all these great songs, we have fan base, we should record these, but it was never like too tripping over ourselves or losing sleep or worrying or going to therapy because we couldn't get a record deal. It was more like, we'll record it on our own. I mean,
Right.
nothing's going to stop me from being who I am. And, music has always been in my life, so it's my air, it's my water.
Yeah.
But Watchtower was a band and a complete force to be reckoned with, and a one of a kind.
Mhm.
And then the band started to change a little bit, and I started to, you know, scratch my itches elsewhere with different kinds of music just because I was growing up. I was
Mhm.
not a teen. All of a sudden, I'm not a teenager anymore, and
Right.
I like all kinds of music. So next thing you know, I'm working with the Toys guys. They had a girl singer. They were called Onyx, and then they lost her, and they got me and changed the name of the band, and ultimately, literally a few months later, we were being courted by record labels and managers and publishers and things like that. And uh, the, those people who were all of a sudden involved with the Toys were like, well, we kind of need you to leave Watchtower so you can do this full time,
Yeah.
because we feel like it would be a conflict of interest. And in saying that, I feel like they thought little old Watchtower could have actually been a threat to what
Mhm.
they were about to invest in.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes it sound cool that Watchtower was this other person, other thing that was in my soul,
Yeah.
that they were worried about whether or not I was going to be able to move forward with the Toys.
Mhm.
And I think that I made a good executive uh, career decision because I learned a whole lot.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I became a songwriter. Like overnight, all of a sudden, I was responsible to write songs with these guys that I just met, which was scary at all in one. In Watchtower, I wrote melodies, but I didn't
Mhm.
write the lyrics.
Oh, okay.
I wrote the melodies, and like the Watchtower guys didn't tell me what notes to sing.
Mhm.
They may have helped with arranging the vocals, and they handed me lyric sheets. The Toys was a time for me to grow
Yeah.
as a person, as a intellectually, see the world, and Watchtower was just taken because of the kind of music that Watchtower is, and what this progressive technical metal, it was like Rush, Metallica, Frank Zappa, Mahavishnu Orchestra, weird technical metal that no one had even, like, the reviews in those old fanzines in the early 80s, usually the review started with, "What the fuck is this?" And like you said, uh, a lot of the things that I do are studio projects.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm busy all the time, and
Yeah.
that's good. That I feel blessed, and I feel good that people trust me and hire me to sing on their records.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's
or
nice.
write their lyrics or
Mhm.
whatever. I work with so many different people and labels and things and writers, and it's fantastic.
Over the years, do you think that performing with Dangerous Toys today feels emotionally different than it did when you first started?
Yeah, because I'm 61 years old now, and you go from being like 21, 22 years old to 61. 40 years is a giant leap.
Big jump.
And singing when you're 22 and you're singing songs about your dick is different when you're 61.
Right, right.
Right?
Yeah, I feel like yeah.
It's still fun,
Mhm.
and it's funny, and we still have a good time. And playing those old songs, because the songs, some of the songs we have now, we didn't have. You said the first time, or
Yeah.
the first
Mhm.
year I was in the band.
Yeah.
I would say it's definitely different, because physically my voice has changed so much.
As it
And
does.
I can still hear all.
Right.
I can still hit all, as I'm still there. I haven't lost as technically. I might be a better singer now than I was when I was in my 20s, because all that growth and knowledge,
Yeah.
right? And as you know, I've been teaching for a long time too,
Of
so
course.
you have to end up taking your own medicine.
Mhm.
If I'm working with a student and I'm telling them to do something that I think will help them, that's from experience, because it worked for me.
Mhm.
So that the answer is yes.
Fun fact, he was my first teacher, music teacher ever, to get me into this, to really set my insights on music.
A lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. After everything that you've experienced in music, what still excites you about getting on stage? And like what's kind of like the motivation for that as well?
The most important thing to me is it's therapy for me.
Yeah.
Like, if I can't do a show and sing songs, sometimes it doesn't even matter if they're my songs. Just getting up and playing some songs with some friends is therapy. But I think getting on stage, whether there's a lot of people, no people, the bartender and his dog, it almost doesn't matter sometimes.
Yeah.
As long as I get to play some songs and get an emotional response from, the walls or the plumbing or the bartender and his dog. But being able to get an emotional response from anyone who's in the room, whose attention that you have, and getting them to react, to dance, to cry, to laugh, to get angry, to jump up and down, to anything, is that means that me and whoever's performing the song with me is doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're not getting any response and you're looking at people's backs, you're not doing it right.
You're doing something wrong, for sure.
Maybe you're not doing it wrong. Maybe they're dead.
Always.
But in a living world, you might be doing something wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
It sounds too harsh when you go, "You suck if you can't make someone cry with your songs." I'm not really saying. I kind of am, aren't I?
No, no,
A little bit.
no, not at all. Yeah, it's always a beautiful thing to
Yeah,
feel the exact same thing that they're
yeah,
feeling,
yeah,
or just like relate to them
yeah.
on
And
another.
you have felt that.
Of course, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I felt that so many times while playing the songs that I write.
yeah.
It's a whole other feeling
But
to feel
even
that
but
way.
even when you were young at the school, doing shows at the school, and even if it was your mom and your dad and your family or your friends who were just the neighbors who were there to see you, they're like, you know what I mean? And you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
all at the same
Oh
time, and
yeah,
it creates this whole like you've moved Earth.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's what I mean.
yeah.
Not to go hippie shit,
No,
but
no, that's a
it's
beautiful
it's
answer.
kind of
I love
it's
that
kind of
answer.
real.
Yeah, it is. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice during the peak of Dangerous Toys, what would it be?
Uh, I don't know. I don't think I would change anything.
Not one thing you wouldn't change,
Maybe I
or tell
might
your younger
say
self.
go to bed. I might say you have a show tomorrow. Don't drink that. I might have said something like that.
Mhm.
Uh, it probably wouldn't have had anything to do with Dangerous Toys songs, and if it did, it would be something like don't drink that, go to bed. You have a show to do
Mhm.
because I mean I've relationships of mine have failed because of my work ethic.
Okay.
To give you a window, maybe that's too much
Yeah.
information,
No, not at all.
but how important it has been to me, like waking up and going, oh my God, what time is it? Because I overslept or whatever. I have to be at sound check. That's like something out of a rom-com. That's like right out of a movie. And
Mhm.
then your partner is like, you didn't even kiss me good morning. You don't give a shit about me. Da 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 da. All you care about is this rock and roll thing. And you know what? I'm guilty. They were right. It's not that I didn't care about them.
Mhm.
What part of who I am is not all them,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
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 Not everyone understands what I'm talking about, right?
There's always those specific people that will appreciate it
I'm
and
happily
will.
married 15 years now, so obviously got it right.
Yeah. What's your wildest or funniest memory from touring in the late '80s and early '90s?
Funniest moment?
Or just like the wildest
There was,
moment, maybe
you
something
know,
that stuck with you the most.
that's why there was never a behind the music on, TV documentary thing about Dangerous Toys is because none of us were on dope, none of us went to rehab, none of us died, none of us. You see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind of I mean, it wasn't picture perfect all the time, but it
No, of
wasn't
course.
extreme enough for someone,
Oh,
the
okay.
day the music died, the Dangerous Toys documentary. No,
Mhm.
no, there was nothing really that wild happening to us. I mean, we toured with our idols, just seeing Rob Halford walk by you every day for a couple of months was pretty wild.
Wow, yeah, that's
Lemmy coming into your dressing room wearing Daisy Dukes and nothing else
mhm.
with a rum and coke and sitting on the sofa in your dress, sitting right here with a guitar and playing songs. And I have it on film. One of those little
Really?
high eight cameras from the '90s, 80s, '90s. Yeah, I have it on film.
What?
Yeah,
We're gonna have to get that from you.
I'll digitize it. I'll figure it out. I rode down Sunset on a tank with Alice Cooper and Rob Halford.
What?
I have a photo of that too.
What, a tank with Alice Cooper and Rob Halford?
Yeah, the story goes we were doing this summer tour in '91 called Operation Rock and Roll. It was press day, and it was I mean, I did radio spots in a studio with Rob Halford, and I'm like right next to Rob, and he's going, "This is Rob Halford from Judas Priest, and we're starting a tour, Operation Rock and Roll with Dangerous Toys." And I'm hearing Rob Halford say the name of my band right in front of me. So that
Wow.
was surreal.
Yeah.
Little things like that. The press day was at the Whiskey, and it's like directors' chairs, and there's me, and there's Mark and me, and Ricky Rackman and Alice and Rob. Alice Cooper, Rob Halford, and Metal Church and Motorhead didn't show up. So it's just the Toys and Alice and Rob and Ricky Rackman interviewing us, doing press for the tour. And there was, you can imagine, like out there, just photographers and press people, like you see on TV,
Mm-hmm.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with recording devices. This is pre cell phone,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And they're just holding up recording device, whatever. It was surreal. And because the whole time I'm just going, okay, be cool, because there's Rob Halford and Alice Cooper right there, this far away.
This far?
I could touch them.
Whoa. That's crazy.
Well, I'm a fan and I'm a
Yeah, of
big
course.
nerd, so
Yeah.
right, it was crazy, man. So me and Mark were probably just like freaking out a little bit, but whatever. People out there saw us as, oh, I bet they're friends with Rob Halford and Alice Cooper. Not really. We're just going to do a tour together. It doesn't mean I'm getting up at 5 a.m. and playing rounds of golf with Alice.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that. Yeah. It was a photo op is what it was. And they had a tank and they had a Jeep because the tour was called Operation Rock and Roll. It was a play on words for Desert Storm. Operation, the war was going on.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Anyway, so me and Mark are in this Jeep. We're sitting up on the roll bars, up high, right? We're leaning on the roll bars, and there's photographers on the sidewalk just taking pictures, and we're a crawl. I can't remember. I think they closed off one lane. They probably do that all the time for movies and shit.
Yeah. And
so the Jeep is behind the tank, and the tank's not hauling ass because it's a tank, and they want to get that in the photos, right? Exactly. And so the Jeep is just creeping, and we had a driver. Me and Mark. They should have let me and Mark drive. That would have been badass. But the tank is creeping, and some of the photographers are like, Jason, let's get all the singers. You need to jump up there. And I left Mark behind. I jumped out and I got on the tank. And I was like, oh shit, crawling up onto the tank. And Rob and Alice are in the turret, like in the tank. And I'm just sitting on part of the turret, the part with the gun on it that moves around. I'm just sitting on that. And someone got a photo of it, and I have it in my studio. That is a moment that I can't. Yeah. Do you know anybody else with the same story?
It's got to be on my bucket list now. Like I have to make that like a life goal. Like try to get on a tank with like one of my favorites.
It's a fleeting moment. It doesn't mean anything, but it meant something to me because I grew up listening to those guys when I was a little kid.
Yeah, and then like touring with them, and especially just hanging out with them is just like a crazy accomplishment. I have a few more questions for you, Jason, if you don't mind.
No, I don't.
Now,
it's going to pick my belly button.
Now, do you think that rock music goes in cycles, or has the industry permanently changed?
It's changing all the time. I hate Spotify, but I'm also tired of hearing how people hate Spotify. So something's got to give there. But I don't think that it will, because they must be having meetings with these big artists going, dude, you played my song 1 million times and you gave me $5. Something's not right here. And they're lobbying and advocating and trying to get ahead of it a little bit. Yeah. But they also want to work with technology. So here they are sitting in with the Spotify robots going, how can we make this work where I can get what I'm owed? And let's make this work. I want to work with you. Right. Why are you treating me like this? It's kind of a scenario, right? The CEOs and the suits and the robots are all just holding their arms up in the air and go, just make more music. Work harder. That's how you're going to make more money, is give us more music. No empathy at all. Zero. And surely people are keeping up with that. Maybe not young people. Maybe young people are not keeping up with the fact that there's bands that just won't do Spotify until the artist's management, has a meeting on the golf course over drinks with CEOs from Spotify, and Spotify's going, we've got to have your music, whoever it is. It could be Taylor Swift, she's one, big artist who refused to be on Spotify because it's unfair. Or in Taylor's deal, she didn't own the rights to her publishing.
Right. Yeah, that's
Someone
right.
else did,
Hmm.
right? That's why you see Taylor's version.
Yep.
She went and re-recorded everything, and her
Exactly.
lawyers
Yes.
went and killed that guy, or they didn't kill anybody. They didn't kill anybody. Just for the record,
They gave him a stern
no
talking
one
to.
died. She pulled all her stuff from Spotify, and then that meeting on the golf course over drinks happened, and Spotify was like, checkbook. All right, how many zeros you want on this? That's
Yeah.
exactly how it went down.
Yeah.
And so now those artists are on Spotify, but Spotify had to go chase them down and go, no, 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 no. We need you because, fans of music who use Spotify, who love Spotify, are going, how come my favorite artist is not, how come Taylor's not on? And they just, rah, how come, rah, I can't find my favorite song on Spotify anymore. What's the deal?
Yeah.
Well, that's why.
Mhm.
Well, now, and I don't know if that music fan who uses Spotify, who loves Spotify, is realizing what had to go down. It was basically a war until it was made right. So obviously that's was never part of the music business that I knew it, how I
Yeah.
knew it back in the day. I think digital changed everything, just everything going digital.
Of course. Yeah.
A lot of young people think music should be free. And I think that the only time that your music, your intellectual property should be free is when you hand it to someone in a physical format, which is, I'll go back retro, which is how Metallica got a record deal, which is how bands
Really? Oh wow, I didn't know that.
No, remember I mentioned tape trading,
Oh yes.
licking
Yeah, that's right.
stamps,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
writing, physically. So proud of you.
She wrote those for me.
Oh, so proud of you. So proud of
She
you
has better
guys
handwriting than
that you guys took a pen and went to paper. Uh, Everyone just takes the digital world, it's all buttons now. Hey Siri, make me some coffee. You can make your own fucking coffee. Keurig is as close to I get to having a robot make my coffee.
Yeah. So. Keurig sponsor this video.
Thank you, Keurig.
Thank you, Keurig. Sponsor this video.
It's delicious. Okay, I'll say it. AI making music for Spotify. There's no artist involved.
Ridiculous.
There's a robot putting music on a rope Spotify that's not even written by a human. It's written by a robot. The intellectual property of a human being whose dog just got run over and going in and writing a song about it is almost dead. The things that make you have an emotional response, how can AI know that? How can a robot understand that? Empathy for anything dramatic. I'm rebelling against all of that, but at the same time, understand it's a necessary evil until it's not. If I had all the money like those giant artists, I'd be like, "Fuck you, Spotify." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then they would come out on the golf course. How many zeros do you want, Jason? And I'd probably give in and go, okay. You want music to be free while you cry because the song made you cry, and that's why you love the song so much, but you want music to be free. You need to pay for that beautiful moment. I feel like nothing's free.
AI can't replicate that feeling at all.
So am I mad because I need money? Not. I'm probably mad, and mad's a loose word. More so because of it's someone had an emotion and then went into a dark room and picked up a guitar or something and wrote a song about it, and the world fell in love with that artist. They fell in love with that song, and you want it to be free. That's the problem I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, artists need to eat too.
Unless we're on a diet.
Unless you're on a diet. Do you have a song from your catalog that is most fun to play purely because of the audience reaction?
Um, this harkens back to what I was saying earlier. I think that the experience with playing music live in front of an audience that knows their fans,
Mhm.
they know your songs, they love your songs, they sing along, la la la. That is that is like a suspended animation. That's like levitation. Like the band and the audience are not on the ground anymore. They are.
They're
It's
floating.
transcendent. It's a transcendent moment, right?
Mhm.
And and when you see like moments that were happening at that Black Sabbath show back to the beginning, I mean, Changes was just a fluke with an unknown artist, Youngblood, and I'm not a fan of his. I have respect for him, but his version of Changes with that specific band and how that came together and everything, it won a fucking Grammy.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh wow! I didn't even know
that
that.
performance of Changes won a Grammy,
Oh,
and that was a big jam. We're celebrating Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne, and
rest in peace, Ozzy.
yeah, yeah. Ozzy passed 17 days after his last gig, just like Lemmy.
Really? Wow! I had no idea about that.
Play a gig 17 days later, Ozzy and Lemmy.
They're
Same.
both at 17 days.
17 days after their last gig. Kind of weird, right?
Yeah, like
Kind of a little bit weird.
two of like the
Well,
messiahs of
Lemmy
heavy
wrote
metal and rock.
correct.
You know.
Lemmy wrote song. I mean, they were friends.
Oh, yeah.
Lemmy wrote I don't know 3 or 4 songs. Mama, I'm Coming Home, Hellraiser,
Hellraiser, yes.
Road to Nowhere.
As I mentioned before, you've been to hundreds of cities and so many places around the world.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know which city always felt the most dangerous and which city you partied the hardest in.
Oh, wow. Well, after the partying years were a little, for the record, I was never really that good at partying.
Yeah.
So you would think after that statement that the times where I partied hard, I would remember
Mm-hmm.
because I was messed up and waking up in someone else's clothes and shit like that. Uh, there were a couple of times this could be related. This is closer to a question earlier where uh, we were playing a show in this cool old theater. And so there's an orchestra pit, like right off the edge of the stage. There's just like this 10-foot drop off. Like the stage looked extremely tall if you're down in the orchestra pit.
Yeah.
But the pit only went like, 7 feet. And then it came back up. And then you have the front row.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a barricade or whatever. But there's this drop off. Well, that orchestra pit, that dungeon, that pit, like the snake pit,
Mm-hmm.
they had built this rickety plywood cover for it.
Mm-hmm.
And my tour, I knew none of this. So I come out on stage and I'm rocking and I'm trying to get people to come closer to the edge of the stage. And a few of them did. And I'm standing out there on that rickety plywood thing. And I'm like, wow, this is kind of weird. It's kind of soft. Not knowing that it's a snake. There's an alligator down there, or spikes sticking up like in the movies.
Right.
Where they lay like palm leaves over it. I'm going to catch me a tiger.
Right.
And security is flipping out, and I don't even notice. I'm oblivious to all of it. And that was a time where my tour manager forgot to tell me, whatever you do, don't stand on that plywood out there, la la la.
Mm-hmm.
He just forgot. And my guys are all on the stage playing, and I'm got a wireless microphone, and I'm going ape shit out there.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around out there, and anyway, killer show, yeah, high fiving, walk backstage, and as soon as we sat down and start to dry off, My tour manager's running back there. Go to the bus. Go to the bus. Follow me. Go to the bus right now. Go to the bus. We're leaving right now. We're fucking leaving right now, because the venue management was coming to like have like shake a finger or fine us, or
Yeah.
they were pissed off.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to get in a fight. He didn't want to, so we left immediately. And the crew had to tear our shit down real quick and put it in a truck and haul out. Like that was a very strange, scary moment. And we don't even know what's going on. We're all happy and supercharged and feel like heroes, and everyone had a blast, and it was a good set. And we're being kicked out by our management team saying, y'all need to leave right now. And we're driving, I'm like, dude, what the fuck are we doing? He's like, plywood, you're standing on it. I didn't fucking know. You didn't fucking tell me. It was like it could have incited a riot.
Yeah.
Me going, come on, what are y'all doing over there? Come on up to the stage. And they're like, the audience doesn't know. Their ticket doesn't say, do not stand on the orchestra pit. Do not rush the stage. Do not be I don't care how big of a fan you are. Don't have a good time. The tickets don't say that. Weird moment.
Where was that at?
I want to say it was somewhere like in Pennsylvania or somewhere up north. So that was kind of a scary moment because I just didn't know. There was some Spinal Tap moments, like, in Spinal Tap when they go, all right, rock and roll, and they leave the dressing room and they can't find the stage. You know that scene?
No, I don't.
Yeah, there's a scene in Spinal Tap where they can't find the stage. The intro tape is rolling. And you're late to the stage. The intro tape is still rolling and it's about to run out, and you can't find the stage. That happened maybe twice.
Dang.
Like you're in some of those theaters, the dressing rooms are up like old metal spiral staircases.
Okay, yeah.
And you come down one flight and you're going, all right. And it's like the storage room,
Let's rock. Oh,
or
why is there a
the
toilet,
signs that say stage this way are just really small, and it's dark in there and you can't see the sign that says stage this way. That happened a couple times.
Now I have one more question for you.
Okay.
And then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
This is the most
favorite candy, Red Hots.
Favorite food.
I'm gonna say Chinese.
Mine's Italian.
Oh, nice.
Are you proud of me?
Yes. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
The fact that you are working here, and you have grown into a songwriter and a multi-instrumentalist, and the fact that your dad was just a rocker. I saw at all my shows all the time, and I still do, 30 years later.
Yeah.
And that I feel like he's done a great job raising you.
No idea.
Yeah, I mean, that you kind of followed your dream and you got this cool job here is kind of, I mean, it was, you could almost see it like as an inevitable happening because of the love you have for music. And would you say that your love for music comes from your dad being around it all the time and listening to his music? When I say his music, I mean his collection and
of course
what he's playing around the house and the things that you felt, the things about it that you fell in love with, whether you guys see eye to eye on styles or whatever. I mean, he probably likes growth as just a rocker, you know what I mean? And, but where you are now with your taste is your own.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. And he may not.
And I've definitely tried to put him on to like my new taste. And
I'm not saying you like Fall Out Boy, but he's probably not going to go listen to Fall Out Boy.
Definitely not.
Right. Okay. And I didn't have that with my parents. There was a lot of old early country music, the old outlaw country, Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was more my dad's thing. My mom was into some show tunes and Doris Day and, popular television stars who made records. And we had a lot of that stuff going on. And then my older brothers, and my oldest brother, Mitch, I'll say this, he was I don't mean this in a bad way, following the trend in the 70s, in the late 60s, uh, and into the 70s. And because of him, I have this mantra: Beatles, Stones, Pistols, Ramones, and how popular all four of those bands are now as a staple, as a way to do something, as you understand. You know, I don't have to explain it.
Yes.
Beatles, Stones, Pistols, Ramones. And the fact that it rhymes makes me feel pretty cool.
Pretty nice.
But he was into all like I remember when Mitch, my oldest brother, brought home the first Devo album, the first, Elvis Costello album, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And that was the trend because no one knew who they were, and then all of a sudden they're playing on Saturday Night Live, and all of a sudden the album is spinning in my living room, and it's my big brother who had hair down to his ass and was all about the Beatles and shit.
Mhm.
And he went and saw the Ramones on their first tour in the 70s
Wow.
and shit like that. Yeah. He saw the Sex Pistols. He saw the Sex Pistols and the Ramones at Randy's Rodeo in San Antonio in like whatever that was, 77, 78, whatever that was. I was 13. I was 12. I was just starting to go to my first concerts, which would have been more like, UFO and Rush and shit like that. But growing up on Elton John and Queen sort of set me on
Yeah.
those were my first like fall in love moments, Elton John and Queen.
Yeah.
The babysitter turned me on to Elton John, and it was my older brother who I think I heard "You're My Best Friend" on the radio or something like that, and then for my birthday in the mid 70s, maybe 75, I think it was that I got News of the World, Queen News of the World.
Yeah.
Yeah, from my oldest brother as a gift.
Oh, wow.
Mind completely blown. Because Queen, much like Alice Cooper and Elton John, they wrote every kind of song. They wrote pop songs. They wrote ragtime, little piano, and then they would write a heavy metal song. It was all minor and Sabbathy or something. And I'm still talking about Queen and Elton John and Alice Cooper. They wrote like these super dark, horrific lyrics, are like, he said what? Like all of those artists. And David Bowie had the same effect. They didn't write one kind of song.
Never one.
It was like going to a theater with all this tragedy and trauma and comedy all rolled into this incredible moments in my life.
Is there one thing you want to say to the viewers that are watching this? One piece of advice that they should take home with them?
Learn how to play an instrument. Even if you're terrible at it, it will change your life. Try to write a poem today and give it to someone you love. First off, if your mother is with you, give it to her first. Save music because you can. It's easy to save music. I'm out.
And we're out. Mic drop. Boom. Hey, good job, guys. Yes.
What does he mean? Say